Now, Vinny, let me just ask you a few questions. When you first, you're from New York, correct?
Yes, I grew up in Queens, New York, and with a name like Cousin Vinny and this accent, yeah, I guess so.
All right. So you've lived in and around the city your whole life. As you came up upon Ground Zero that day, what were your thoughts?
On the way in, we were coming in our rescue truck. I felt only like a gladiator entering battle. That's the feeling we all had in the truck. As we headed away into the city where everyone was leaving, people were cheering us on the roads. It was the most amazing feeling. And as you got closer to Ground Zero, there was this dust in the air. And as we got within several blocks of Ground Zero, I saw something that I couldn't even imagine, because these towers were such a focal point of the city, a landmark.
Sure.
I still saw the towers, and they weren't even there. But what we did come upon was a 10-story rubble field that looked like something out of a bad B science fiction movie. It was gut-wrenching to see what happened to my city.
All right, you get here, you're confronted with this horrific scene. Just for the people that obviously weren't here that day, but saw it from their TV sets and from the news footage, give me a little bit of a sense of what you were feeling, number one, and what you were sensing, the smell, the sights, the noises, because I'm sure they've got to be things you'll never forget as long as you live.
Oh, absolutely. You know, your senses were overwhelmed. It's the best way to put it. I've never been in. I have a son who's a serving Marine. They're trained for this kind of thing, and no matter what you're trained for as a firefighter, you'd never train for that magnitude of what we saw. So the first feeling was, what the heck can we possibly do here? We felt like ants, literally like ants on a mountain. But once you got beyond the challenge in your mind that we can't do anything really, we knew we had to do something. We're answering the call. So somehow this group of people came together, volunteers, paid people, guys from all over the country literally came together, and because God had his hand over us, we didn't lose any people on the site, very few injuries, because we were on a mission to rescue our brothers, and if they weren't going to come back alive, we're going to bring them home somehow.
What was the odor like?
Indescribable. You know, if you go by a road and you have like a dead animal, that dead deer smell, magnify that by 1,000 times. It's still, anytime I smell a dead animal, instantly brings me back to Ground Zero. It is the worst smell you can possibly imagine, and that's why it was so incredible to me to be buried beneath the rubble and smell babies. Right. There's no better smell.
Life. Not death, but life.
Exactly.
You're now retired, and you're active in a lot of different efforts as far as helping some of the fallen heroes. Why don't you share for a minute some of the things you're involved in at this moment in time, in really in the furtherance, I think, of your service to the city and to the nation?
Well, part of my deal beneath ground, which I think I left out, was I made a deal with God almost as on the businessman angle, that if you allow me to get out of here, I promise to dedicate my life to you. And I think he has a good sense of humor. He took me up on it. And while traveling internationally to Ecuador to bring the mission and the message of what we did at Ground Zero, I came upon a small fire department where a house had burned down and they lost 3 little children, and you could smell the death again. And I turned to Monica, who later became my wife, and I said, the stuff we have is better than anything these guys have. The stuff we throw out is better. Why don't we help these guys gear up? And that's how Gear Up Foundation was formed.
Okay.
So our effort was to bring equipment and training to firefighters around the world in need, and also to spread the brotherhood in tribute to our guys we lost on 9/11. And Gear Up has been doing this. We donate fire trucks around the world. Gear is training. I have almost $1.5 million worth of gear sitting in England right now, waiting for some really kind person to say, I want to ship that to those poor fire departments, ready to go. So I've been involved in that. A lot of guys, we've lost almost 2,000 first responders since 9/11 from lung disease.
Yeah, now let's focus on that just for a second, because this is something I think too many people don't either fully understand or comprehend. It wasn't just the 3,000 some people that lost their life on that fateful day, but we've had thousands, especially heroes that were here on that day, who have lost their life due to their service, correct?
Absolutely. We were in a toxic cocktail, and we consider ourselves lab rats down there. And many of my dear friends have a lot of streets named after them, but they're still fighting to get their medical coverage, insurances. So I've been very active in going to Washington, lobbying the city, anywhere I can, to say, hey, guys, don't turn your back on these guys. That's another attack on them and their families. We have to help these people. So losing these many guys, it's an ongoing tragedy, and it still unfolds, and most of America doesn't really know it.
And they're still dying to this very day from what they ingested into their bodies on 9/11, correct?
Absolutely. Monica still pulls glass-like objects out of my back on occasion. I'm on 20 different meds a day just to keep going, inhalers, steroids, everything. I used to run 3 miles a day. I get winded walking up a flight of stairs now, and I'm not as bad as a lot of the other guys. So yeah, we really have to understand, first they need our prayers, to keep them going, and we also have to do what we can to let them know we haven't forgotten them.
Listen, my friends, Vinny's information is on the screen for his foundation. Please jot down that information. Help out, because let me tell you something. You never know when you're going to need a hero at your house or your office, or you never know when the next attack on this nation may come, and you're going to be counting on men like Vinny to come and save you. And we can't turn our backs on these heroes. We can't turn our backs on these people who literally gave their very lives for those that they didn't even know. But it was their job, it was their duty, it was their service. So please jot down the foundation information and do the very best you can to help Vinny stand with these heroes, not just here in this country, but around the world, who are doing such great work. I'm Bill Keller. We're coming to you from Ground Zero today. God bless you.